For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to your one-stop shop for all things National Football League, including the 2019 NFL postseason. We've already knocked down the Saturday contest between the Colts and Texans and the Seahawks and the Cowboys. Now let's turn our attention to the Sunday afternoon wildcard matchups. We first start at 1 o'clock at M&T Bank Stadium in a rematch of a regular season game that featured two teams playing hot football at the time in the Los Angeles Chargers and the Baltimore Ravens. This game is so funny to look at because here are the Ravens who snuck in the back door as the AFC North champions at 10-6 after getting hot in the latter portion of the season with Lamar Jackson at quarterback. And then you look at the fifth-seeded Los Angeles Chargers, who at 12-4 are a wild card and on the road taking on a Ravens football team that just a few weeks ago they were hosting at home with a chance to put them in a potential driver's seat position to win the AFC West. And so it's amazing to look at this game. It seems like styles make fights, and this may not be a good matchup for the Chargers. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not. You got to stick around for my prediction at the end of this video. But in the meantime, let me give you some keys to victory for both of these teams in this football game if they're looking to advance to the divisional round. We first start with the team on the road in the Los Angeles Chargers, and they're looking to try to avenge the loss that they had a few weeks ago in week number 16 to these same Ravens, 22-10 at the crib. And so now the Chargers, who have been exceptional on the road, probably played some of their best football on the road this season, look to continue to do that in Wild Card Weekend. Here's the first key to victory. Rolling, rolling, rolling down the rivers. They need Philly Rivers to show up in MVP status in this football game. They can't afford for Rivers to play the kind of football he played the last time these two teams met. Philip Rivers, first of all, was harassed by this Ravens defense. He was hit early and often. The first play of the game was an underthrow, and there wasn't much pressure on that play, but severely underthrown football on a guy that had to step down the sidelines, and it was picked off by Brandon Carr. And to me, that was a sign of things to come, foreshadowing what would be the outcome of that football game. He's got to play better. As he goes, so does this football team. It's time for Philip Rivers to write a new chapter in his book. A lot of people don't give Rivers the credit that he deserves as one of the best quarterbacks of his era. And we talk about all his contemporaries. Talk about Big Ben because he won 2 championships. We talk about Eli Manning because he won 2 Super Bowls. We don't talk enough about this quarterback here in Philip Rivers. Same draft class, but we don't talk about Rivers because he hasn't even been to a Super Bowl. This may be one of his better teams right here, and a great opportunity. Won't say it's his best opportunity. That was back in the North Turner days when they had a chance, home field advantage, allowed the Patriots to come in and win. That's another story for another day. This is a great opportunity, though, in front of them here, and he's got to play some of his best football. He can't turn it over. He can't have mistakes. He can't miss opportunities. They've got to protect up front. They've got to do their job, but when he gets time, he's got to do his part to lead this Chargers football team. This Ravens defense may be the best in football. He's going to have to be his sharpest if the Chargers are going to have a chance to sneak one on the road. You go to the next key. All right. I owe you guys a double O. More specifically, I owe Austin Ekeler a double O. Okay, I was wrong. Austin Ekeler makes a difference. Hence, Eck respect / Triple H. It's all about the game, and I ain't playing. It's time for Austin Ekeler to show up. He didn't play the last time these two teams met, and you know what? Sometimes you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And I didn't really know what the Chargers were missing until Austin Ekeler didn't play in Week 16. And then I realized, shit, Austin Ekeler does make a difference. He is pretty good. They missed him in the screen game. They missed him getting out on the perimeter against this fast-flowing Ravens defense. They're aggressive. They love to come after you. There isn't a better screen catcher on this team than Austin Ekeler. He's so quick. He makes moves. He's very decisive. He gets up the field. They could hurt the Ravens in the screen game with Austin Eckler, a guy that wasn't on the field the first time these two teams met. I think Austin Eckler could be an X factor in this football game. Respect Austin Eckler. Respect Eck. All right, we'll see if he can go out and make some plays. I think he's a guy that you really have to try to get the football to if you are the Los Angeles Chargers. And finally, Hunter Henry is back. All right. Hey, cue up Stephen A. Smith. Hey, he is playing this game. All right. All season long, Hunter Henry has been out due to a torn ACL. Didn't think we would see him at all this season. As a matter of fact, everyone had written off the fact that Hunter Henry was going to see the field in 2018, now 2019. But he's on the field in the 2018-2019 season, not the regular season, but the postseason. And they haven't gotten much of anything out of the tight end position. OG85, bless his heart, is a Hall of Fame player, but his best football, long gone. As a matter of fact, his fumble the last time these two teams met was the nail in the coffin. You need something out of your tight end position. I'm not saying you're going to get it in his first game back, but it'd be sure nice to see Hunter Henry come in and have an impact right away. Tore his ACLs way back in mini camps. Now let's see if he can have an impact when the Chargers need him most. Go to the next key. Defensive duplicate. Look, for all of the things that went wrong the first time around you two teams met, I really felt like the defense of the Chargers played exceptionally well in that football game. And I think it went understated and under the radar because the fact that the Ravens came in and won and they were so dominant defensively themselves against the Chargers offense that had been high flying up until that point, and they were reduced to 10 points. No one talked about the defensive performance turned in by the Chargers in that football game. But if you look at that football game and the way things shaped out, really the Chargers defensively, they took care of business. You look at the offense since Lamar Jackson came into the fold for the Ravens, their lowest rushing output came in the game against these Chargers. Lamar Jackson didn't have a field day rushing the football. I think he only had 30 or maybe 40 yards rushing in the game. The running backs had some yards on the ground, but that's what the Ravens do. They're going to gain yards on the ground, but you also forced some fumbles, and you were also able to have a fourth down goal line stand. You were able to force the Ravens to have to settle for field goals. You did give up one big play over the top, and that proved to be a backbreaker when it was all said and done. But for the most part, you were outstanding defensively in this game, and I think you have to duplicate that. And the thing I'll also say is now, you've had a chance to go against Lamar Jackson once. And it's tough knowing that Lamar Jackson is a runner. Everyone says, oh, yeah, it's Lamar Jackson. They're running, high school, college type offense. And, it's like defending against Robert Griffin III or one of these other mobile quarterbacks. But until you actually get on the field and taste some of Lamar Jackson's speed, you just can't account for what he does as a football player. Well, you've already tasted his speed. You know what you're up against. I think you'll be better because of it. Defensive duplicate. Do what you did defensively last game, minus the big play over the top to Mark Andrews, and you could come out victorious in this football game. Jackson didn't hurt you on the ground really that much in that football game. Be a little bit better against the run. You did give up some yards on the ground. Be a little bit better against the run, and I think you've got something if you're the Chargers. Next key. Show me your badge, Lee. All right, I've been really hard on Michael Badgley this season. All right, let's see some ID. Come on, show me your badge, Lee. I need to see it. I don't trust Michael Badgley, and so what I'm basically saying to you is don't allow this game to come down 20 to 22 late. Okay, the score can't be 22 to 20 late, and you're driving, and you got to kick a 47-yard field goal for the win. Don't allow Michael Badgley to be the deciding factor in this football game. He scares me, and he may come through for you, and he may prove me wrong, and he may shut me up, and I may have to come back and give out another double O next week. I just gave one out to Austin Eckler. I may have to come back and give one to Michael Badgley, but until then, I'm sticking to my guns. Michael Badgley is not to be trusted. Show me some ID. Show me your Badgley. I need to see it. Do not allow this game to come down to a last-second field goal, because we saw him miss against Pittsburgh. Luckily, he got a Maya Copa, and he got to do it over not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times before making it. Bottom line is, don't allow Michael Badgley to be the reason you don't advance to the divisional round of the postseason. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. And finally, last key to the game, and this is more of a bonus. This isn't a necessity, but this will give you the best opportunity to win. Charge up the lead. All I'm basically saying is start fast and get out to a healthy lead. And when I say healthy, you're talking about the Ravens here. So they're not going to allow this thing to get out of control. But if you could jump out on top of them 14-3, 13-3, 17-3, you really put them behind the 8 ball, because they don't want to throw the football. They want to run it. They want to control time of possession and pace of game. They don't want to play from behind. They don't want to count on Lamar Jackson to have to throw the football any more than 25 to 30 times max. All right. You jump out to an early lead and you force them to maybe get away from the run a little bit, and you also force them to have to throw it more than they would be comfortable with. And they may even have to make a tough decision, like putting Joe Flacco in the game. I doubt that happens, barring some kind of injury. However, if you're the Chargers and you can jump out to an early lead, you put the pressure on the Ravens, something that they really haven't faced with Lamar Jackson in the lineup. I want to see how they adapt and react to being down big early in a ball game with Lamar Jackson at quarterback. They haven't had to deal with that. If you can make them uncomfortable and start fast and charge up a lead, who knows? You may come out of M&T Bank Stadium with the victory. Moving on to the home squad in this game, and the Ravens and their keys to victory to try and do it again to these Chargers like they did in Week 16. First key, run, Ravens, run. Don't stand there, run. The Ravens run it better than anybody in football at this very moment. That includes the Seattle Seahawks, who run it like some fiends. But the Ravens run the football. It is their identity. It is what they do. It is what they do best. It's really all they do. All right. Jackson can throw it, but they're not comfortable with Jackson throwing it right now. They want to run it, and they want to run it bad. And if you're the Ravens, now's not the time to get cute. Now's not the time to flip the script. Now is not the time to try to have a new identity. Do what you do best. Run the football. Run it on first down. Run it on second down. And hell, just like you did against these same Chargers, run it on third down. 3rd and 4, that's a running down for these Ravens. They've been successful at it. Continue to pound the rock. It is what you do. It is what's gotten you here, and it's what's going to continue to advance you in the postseason. You look at the next key to the game. Lights, camera, Jackson. I'm talking lights, camera, Jackson. All right? It's time for Lamar Jackson to show up on the biggest stage that he's seen this to this point in his career. It's the postseason. Lights are bright. Stage is set, and it's huge, and it's time for Jackson to show some action. Not just with his legs, but with his arms. He can't miss the open pass on 3rd and 6. Guy coming across the middle on a shallow cross, wide ass open. He can't miss. That second level throw over the middle of the field that generally is open because of the threat of his legs. Linebackers have to pinch up, take a couple of false steps forward. He pulls it out of the belly on read option or on some RPOs, and they step up, and a guy's streaking over the middle of the field. He can't miss. You get a shot opportunity down the field, you've got to connect. It's time for Lamar Jackson to put all the naysayers to bed by throwing the football accurately. All right? Lights, camera, Jackson. It's time for you to step up and show why you were a first-round pick. We all know about the athleticism. We all know about your ability to extend plays and use your legs to hurt teams. We've seen it all the way to the postseason. Now you've got to show why you told the people at the combine, I'm a quarterback, not running any routes, not catching any passes. I'm a damn quarterback. Time to show up and show out. Key number 3, aggressive flock. The Ravens defensively are the best left in this postseason. They were the best defense down the stretch. They are the best defense in football right now, and they have to continue to be aggressive. They were aggressive the first time these two teams met. They got after Rivers. They hit his ass, like I said, early and often, and they got to him. They got in his head. He was flustered in that football game. Wink Martindale has to continue to be aggressive. Do not take your foot off the gas pedal. It's what you do, and it's what you do best defensively, is you get after teams. Last week, with your season on the line, Baker Mayfield looked like he was going to take the Browns down the field to score the game-winning or the game-winning field goal, or put them in a position to kick the game-winning field goal. And what did Wink Martindale do on 2nd down, 3rd, and 4th down? He brought pressure. He brought the kitchen sink on 2nd down, on 3rd down, and on 4th down. He came with pressure, and then C.J. Mosley dropped underneath the pass and picked it off. Be aggressive. It's what the Ravens do. Communicate. Be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, but be who you are defensively, and that's an aggressive flock of Ravens. Do what you do and be who you are at the most critical juncture of the football game. Be aggressive. And finally, the last key to the game for the Ravens. I know it sounds cliche, and I know it's an easy thing to say, but win the turnover battle. The Ravens are one of 2 teams out of the 12 that made it to the postseason. They're one of 2 teams that had a negative turnover ratio this season. All right? Only the Eagles and these Ravens had a negative turnover ratio. Every other team in the postseason plus side of the turnover ratio. That means offensively, you're turning over the football too much, and defensively, you're not getting enough in return. This defense, for as good as it's been this season, doesn't create a lot of turnovers. All right? Now, what you did do in the win versus these Chargers in Week 16 is create turnovers, something you haven't had a ton of success with. You forced some issues with Rivers. You were able to get a fumble that really was the deciding factor in the game, that closed the show against Antonio Gates. You've got to create turnovers in this game. But if you don't, at least you cannot turn it over yourself. The last time you played this game against these Chargers, if I'm not mistaken, you had some fumble issues at the running back position with Dixon. You can't have the fumbles. Can't have the ball being put on the carpet. And Lamar Jackson can't turn it over. He's got to be aware of his surroundings. Can't fumble the football after getting hit in the pocket from behind like he did against the Chiefs. You can't have the mistakes. Ball tips off of somebody's fingers because it's an errant throw high and behind somebody over the middle of the field and gets picked off. That can't happen. Take care of the football. Win the turnover. The only way you don't win this football game, most likely. All right, now let me backtrack a little bit. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. One of the ways you can lose this game is by losing the turnover battle. You win the turnover battle, your chances of winning this football game are great. And I'll leave it at that. So with that being said, I'm going to give you my prediction for this football game. The first time around, I told you a week in advance, after the Chargers beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, that the Ravens were going to go into L.A. and win. Now I'm telling you the opposite. The Chargers are going to go into Baltimore and win this football game. They've seen this Ravens defense. They know what to prepare for now. And more importantly, they've seen this Ravens offense. They've tasted Lamar Jackson's speed. They know what they're up against. And I didn't think they did that bad of a job the first time around to begin with. But now they know exactly what they're up against. They're a healthier football team this time around than they were the first time without Austin Eckler and now getting back Hunter Henry. This is a dangerous Chargers football team. They've been better on the road than they have been at home this season, and they're going to prove it again in this football game. Give me the road team again in the first game. Just like Texans losing at home to the Colts, Give me the roadie to start off the day. I'm taking the Chargers on the road to defeat the Ravens 23-16. That's my prediction. What's yours? Leave it in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys. If it's not your man T, it's not the best NFL coverage. It could be. You know where you can find me at the conclusion of this game, breaking it down on AFC Wildcard overtime. I will break this game down in all its splendor, take your comments, and chop it up with you guys into the next football game. So join me directly after this game for AFC Wildcard overtime. Ravens, Chargers. I'll see you then. Have a good one. Enjoy the festivities. Like the video, and if this is your first time here, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great NFL content. I'll see you then. Have a good one.